Good morning. It is the 29th of October 2019. In this video, we're going to ask a very important question about Bitcoin. Well, it's a question that, of course, everyone's trying to answer. We have a raft of bulls that's saying that Bitcoin is going to bounce off this level and give us some parabolic structures up to the moon. And yet the bears are feeling this is a staging ground and a top formation, giving us some further drops coming in. And of course, if you're an altcoin trader like I am, then you're uncertain because Bitcoin dominance is owning the market. Right now, it looks like we have some obvious reversal patterns in the markets, but I want to see if our indicator set is going to provide us some advanced directional bias on this. So today we're going to compare, where am I? First of all, this isn't financial advice, just market observation. And in this episode, we're going to compare some scenarios from back in June and July that were providing us some obvious large reversal wicks, while most everyone was bullish at that time. And we're going to compare what could potentially happen today if there's a breakout to the upside in Bitcoin, and what we should look for in these indicators if we have some continuing weakness. Now, if you've been watching the videos that we've been doing earlier in the week, we've been exploring the potential for a breakout to the upside, and we compared that to our indicators. So you may already know what I've been looking at. I am uncertain right now, but with a conspiracy theory that prices will pull back to the $5,800 level just because of a long-term look at the logarithmic charts. Now I'm going to have to reinstall my software so I can get my sound set up corrected again so that I can monitor my own sound while I'm doing this. Right now I'm getting a feedback loop so I can't hear my own self now. So good morning, Paul H. Good to have you along. Assos man, I'm glad to have you here again. You've probably been watching us go through this same routine. Basically, what I look for in the market is a 1, 2, 3 formation, which is a failed retest of a recent high or low. So after a big move up like this and prices come down, now they've given us 1, 2, 3 formations on either side. We've got the 1 for the top, we've got the 2, and we've got the potential number 3, 1, 2, 3. And that would confirm if prices break down below this number 2 point. And that would be our top formation and prices coming back. And so what I've been watching for is the altcoins, the indicators to see what are they doing. And as we came across this top formation right here, we had a break in the relative strength index on the 1 hour time frame, and this was making me bearish. Let's just quickly go through the indicator set on the 1 hour time frame. Here's the whoosh up with lots of on balance positive volume, and then selling all the way along here. So for me, it's still kind of feeling top formation-ish. But does it mean it's going to go down? Of course not. Bitcoin is this could also be the parabolic rise triangle, going to be the ascending wedge coming up here. And that's why I want to review it from day to day to map it out as it actually happens. This is important as we come into the MACD indicator, this 1 hour time frame having come down this way, holding itself and giving us a rounded bottom, and then turning to a little bit of a positive histogram right at the edge there. Then it looks like a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, where this is the 1, this is the 2, and this is the 3. So we've come down, tested these levels, and held support again, and breaks above these levels then start to look bullish, especially when we have this cross to the positive. And so I can't ignore either one of them. You have to pay attention to what could happen if it's going up and use your risk control rules and be prepared. When it goes down, it usually goes down faster than it goes up. Now, we've had some real tragic stories this last little while. There's been 3 different people in our community that I've heard of losing all their money. One guy went from 21 Bitcoin to less than 2 Bitcoin throughout this rise here. He was short and got liquidated. Another guy said that he's just emailed actually, and was telling the story of earning up his Bitcoin over the last year, and then within this period of time, he's lost pretty much all the Bitcoin he earned up over the last year. The risks are crazy. So if never mind where it might go and where the entry and exits are, if you don't have your risk control rules ahead of time, then I recommend that you head over to the website, intro-to-cryptos.ca. Where do I have it here? Head to the homepage and get the free webinar so that you can start learning more about those risk control rules. There's the MACD. Let's continue on. The Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour time frame is 1, 2, 3 top formation. It's under the cloud. We've got a twist to the negative. It's almost all negative indicators here that this is a sell signal in the downtrend in the Ichimoku cloud. And I'm glad to bring this up because it brings a completely different picture for me to the story. And I might have been bullish until I look at this and I think, well, okay, the Ichimoku cloud has kicked my ass a few times. I better pay attention. Then on the 1 hour time frame, I want to look at the Bollinger bands. We've come off the bottom of the band up through the middle. We're holding above the middle, and strength above this for the Bollinger bands, as far as I know, is really, that's good. That's a buy signal to bounce off of the middle of the band and head up. Now, with that review on the 1 hour time frame, we can step back and... Hey, Doug, it's wrenched. Hey, Elandro, good to have you here. Elandro. And on the edge, good morning, good morning. Got a regular crew getting up at this time of the day. Well, according to this relative strength index right at the tip here, that's kind of bullish. And I would expect that a break of this trend line, just like the break of this trend line, it's going to do something. And for me, that this gives us another 1, 2, 3 formation, and that would be strength above those levels, even though, as I was saying, let's go back to the beginning now. Exhaustion wicks on the weekly. The RSI broke the trend line. Here's the RSI trend line now and the long-term RSI trend line. So we've got two different trend lines here to pay attention to. We're above it and hitting at the mid-level. Still no answer. Now, when I zoom in to the daily, and I'll pay more attention to this, look at these exhaustion wicks. They look like we had in the weekly, and we also had a big volume candle right there at the very beginning of that. And so I'm paying attention to this being very overbought, that we have this uptrend here. We poked up above this, but that's neither here nor there. The RSI will poke up and come down quite a bit. So it's, for me, I'm seeing more of the breaks of these trend lines in the RSI, more so than the overbought, oversold. And correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let's zoom in. Here again, these exhaustion wicks stand out to me and I go, oh, wow, that looks like a top formation. And with my conspiracy theory, I'm watching for it. At the end of the episode, we'll take a look at Bitcoin longs versus shorts, Bitcoin dominance, and the altcoins to see what they are doing to respond to all of this. There's our trend line to pay attention to. We don't really have much of a trend line from the bottom. It just took off so much. But having it come down to dip to the middle and then break up above that trend line as we're crossing above here would be a continuation. And I would expect that we would see some volume adding into that on this move right there. What was this? The 4 hour time frame, really key to keep an eye on that. And like just watch that as the trade is unfolding to know what is coming. Here's a more clear view, as we were saying earlier, on the 1 hour time frame as it's breaking that trend line and coming up and breaking here. That looks really good. On the other side, we've got the bottom. Now let's go back to the bigger view of the volume and just quickly go through this. We got that spike of volume. I want to see what the flavor of that spike is over the time of these exhaustion wicks here now. That's what I'm looking for, to see, do we have lots of volume and then petering volume as we start zooming in? Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Indeed, this is what I was wanting to point out, is that we did have the massive volume, a good amount of volume, and then like hopeful volume, but not enough. And so for me, this still looked like 1, 2, 3 top and exhaustion wicks on the top of it. Now, I've been spanked enough by potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakouts that I used to call these Pre-pump candles. It's gonna pump. Here it comes. Oh, okay. Now I've called them exhaustion wicks. Let's see over time which way this goes, exhaustion or pre-pump. 1 hour time frame. Gotta see the volume. It's like crickets out there in the field. Zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, not seeing the volume. We got some hopeful volume coming out of this, and then exhaustion at the top. And let's see if the Bollinger Bands give us a buy signal here and an exit signal here when we start zooming in on that. I want to see. Now let's go on to the long-term view of the MACD, which earlier in the week, I'm going to give this less clout. I'm going to give it less power just because it screwed me over last week and I didn't like it. Now here we have a divergence to the positive side, like no doubt in it right there. That's a strong divergence to the positive side. And I have to go back to the relative strength index on the daily view, clear this off, because I didn't talk about this divergence. Yeah, there it is. I don't want to miss things like that. That's important. Here's the same divergence in the MACD on the 4 hour time frame. Really, really important on that day on Friday to have picked up on that and a few other cues and not to be stuck on the super long-term time frame. 12-hour time frame, losing a bit of steam. Our histograms are pulling back as we're coming across these exhaustion wicks. And you know, when you're doing these live streams, there's this strong urge to be right, to call the market correctly and to be the genius that calls it where everybody else didn't. It's like there's this, I don't know, it's almost like an addiction toward it to be correct. And if you're trading to be correct, you're probably going to have bigger losses than you should have had. Anyway, top formation crossover on this 4 hour time frame is negative, where we had the divergence on the 12 hour, and we do have the divergence on the 4 hour, right? We have this lower lows, we have the divergence on the 4 hour. It seems to have run out of steam there. So I want to back up onto the 12 hour, and I'm watching for this to be running out of steam and come to cross. Really, if it is going to dump and it is going to break these levels, I would bet that the 12 hour is going to cross as well, and not just the 4 hour. So the 4 hours crossed, but then I'm going to be watching the histograms in the 4 hour to see, are they staying wide or are they shortening? And especially if they start to go positive, this will cross to the positive and will continue on upward. So this has got to stay negative, and it's got to pull the 12 hour negative if we are going to be diving. Now, when I zoom in on the closer time frames, we'll be looking at these histograms to see what's going on. It's crossed to the positive here. Out of this 1, 2, 3 bottom here, that is a cross to the positive, as we saw right at the beginning, and a bit of a bowl shape here, still supporting stronger prices because it's crossing to the positive above the previous one. So if this runs out of steam and crosses to the negative, and it's got lots of room, of course, it can go way down more if we are fading off and we do continue on doing what we did in June and July, where these are exhaustion wicks and we're going to go sideways for a bit. We still could have some deeper dives, but this is going to have to recross to the negative. It's going to have to lose some steam here. And if this is crossing to the negative as we're hesitating, ease back on your long, just for risk control rules. Though you may be correct, the more chance there is of getting damage, the more risk adverse you should be. So now this is crossing to the negative on the 15. If the 15-minute pulls the 1 hour to a negative cross, you know the story. That's like the slinky pulling itself along. If this crosses to the positive, the 1 hour will continue to flare to the positive, and then it'll pull the 4 hour to cross to the positive, and we'll know that we're going up. And these are not exhaustion wicks. Now for the Ichimoku cloud, we saw this on the 1 hour time frame. Again, if it pokes up through this cloud and we have the blue remaining above the red here, If I zoom right in so we can see the blue is above the red, we got a negative twist. For me, this is a negative signal, and I would have been in denial. As a bull, I would be in denial on that, and I've been spanked before. So now, on the 1 week time frame, this isn't a closed candle, but the blue line, the conversion line, is below the baseline. This was an important indicator for us way back. At this time, I was looking at this and this as our potential lows. So we hit the first potential low. I still got this conspiracy theory that we've got one more stage back just to squeeze everybody that one more time. We're going to get to the longs in a second, and we'll see why. So on the daily time frame, this is setting up to be a sell signal in the Ichimoku downtrend because it's up into the cloud. If the blue line crosses below the red and we start to lose from here, and this stays red, it doesn't twist to the green, that's a sell signal. The 12-hour we've poked up through, but not, I don't know how much juice. We didn't get it twisting to the green very well. The blue line is barely above the red. So I'm stretching here. I'm looking for bearish indicators because that is a buy signal, a break above these levels. And now that we've staged here and bumped our heads so firmly against this, I am still bearish. 4-hour time frame is bullish. Of course, it's up through the cloud. Everything's all good here in this time frame except for the 1, 2, 3 top formation that's looming right there. If it bounces off this, it could give us the buy signal at this time frame. We'll see how that goes. 1-hour time frame we had already looked at, that it's just underneath the cloud. Let's zoom into the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so it's poking up now and staging above the cloud on this time frame. But the blue line has crossed below the red line right there. So if we have this cloud coming back and twisting to the negative, that's worse. And then we need it to come up above these levels and stage, prove it to us from here. If it stages above those levels, everything else will probably change. And I'll likely come on and do a live stream or record a stream so that I can see what the indicators are doing underneath all of this. One of the things I like about this stream is to ask, where in the world are you from? It is 5:17 in the morning right now. We're just going through the routine. And I'm always keen to know where people are from. So now the weekly relative strength index and the weekly on balance volume last week got me during the bear trap. I didn't take action on it where I should have. And I'm wondering now, does the Bollinger Band have that same effect before the candle closes? So in the weekly, because we're at the beginning of the week now, does this, how much will this change throughout? I'm keen to see. Up to the midline, over the midline, up to the top of the Bollinger Band, that every time it pokes out to the top of the Bollinger Band on this time frame, it's been a good sell signal. So if these are exhaustion wicks, if that stands out pretty clear. This is going to be my new friend here, I think, because this is also sell signals. Correct me if I'm wrong. In this time frame here. Let me see. We're from Belgium, Portugal, oi amigo, Netherlands, Argentina, living in Portugal, but in Argentina now. Proud and real. Peace. Minnesota. Indeed. You're getting some snow. Well, you got a little bit of snow overnight too. Lisbon, and it's 10:20 a.m. I am honored to have you guys here. I really am. Now, zooming in on this. 1, 2, 3 top formation. I think that's a sell signal in this, but I don't know. As it crosses below this midline on the 4-hour and it's making my 1, 2, 3 top formation, that would be, I would use that as a confirming something. But now, as we get into this time frame, I guess the one thing I like in this is that we're really narrowing the neck again. So it gives us a clear point of decision, a break above this or a break below that. If it goes past this midline even, it's giving us a clear point of decision. and I don't know. I'm super grateful. We had a couple people on our Discord chat sent me links to their favorite Bollinger Band tutorial videos. So I'm going to soak those up and I'll start speaking Bollinger Band language a lot better a little bit later in the week. Here we can see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is breaking higher. We got strength coming out of this. So since we just did a big blast up and we have a set of higher lows taking off and a 1, 2, 3 building up on this, it is pretty enticing, and I'm still expecting it to come down. But anyway, here, let's look at Bitcoin price 1 hour time frame here. Here's the same chart, Bitcoin price 1 hour time frame. And then I have the Bitcoin longs and the shorts down below lined up for the same time frames so that we can see that the longs dropped off as the price went up and the shorts dropped off on that volatility as well. And then the longs are all getting excited as we're going sideways here, and they're all building up. And so this is part of my conspiracy theory, and I'm absolutely guessing if this does a move higher, I erase my guess for now. But I'm zooming this out to the 4 hour time frame so we can go back and take a look at what happened in July, where we had so many people long and so many people bullish, and really good popular traders were talking about some amazing setups and the potential for craziness going on from these levels. And it immediately broke from that consolidation pattern after we had these exhaustion wicks. And so now with the longs gathering up strength again, it's getting to be a season to be hunting for them. Hit those shorts, smash it down to the $5,800 level, which doesn't, in the chart, it's not that far actually. And then we'll hit those levels, and I think we'll be coming up from there. I don't know. And if it's breaking out higher, I'm not holding a short position, that's for sure. Okay, now let's go take a look at Bitcoin dominance, because the altcoins are standing in nervousness, waiting to see what's going on with this. And if we're looking at this chart, this is a big flag, and that would be a flag where, what is this? Bull flag, right? It's going up, pulls back into this perfect range, and then up again, which means that Bitcoin is going to be taking off and crushing the alts into oblivion one more time, and we're going to get some true capitulation in the alts. I'm from Canada, proud and real. Canadian, born and raised. My family is from Europe. They were immigrated here back in the 1920s or something, and even earlier than that. I've got some family tree back into the American Revolution. Now, this is the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet, and right now we have 6 spots left in our Digital Currency Traders Patreon group. For $15 a month, there are 6 spots left where you can join and have access to our Bull Market Watch spreadsheet. And what the value of this is that it takes Bitcoin dominance and it splits it out, just like a prism would split out the data in light into different colors. We've split out the data in Bitcoin dominance to show us which coins are the ones taking off and when are they pulling back. So we can see, let me go over to the Binance hold data. No, Binance color-coded data. And I'm going to scroll right to the very end so that we can see the entire progression from October the 9th, where we were at 79 hold status coins, and we can see which coins to peel out of and get out of and get out of as this setup going on with Bitcoin. Where now we only have 12 hold markets in Binance. And so the power of this is knowing when to get out of your alts, but also when to get into them, so that we can see that back here in September, the earliest part of September is the time to be getting into the alts, and then when to get out of them. So we're prepared for whenever the bull market comes. We're going to know which coins to get into, which ones are just sort of floating along that we're not going to do anything with. And then we're going to know exactly when to get out of these markets so that we are not holding the bag as they drop back to historical lows. So the data in this is updated every single day, and we can show you graphically, visually, which coins to hold in your portfolio. So only a few spots left on that. And I think there's a link in the description down below. If not, head over to our Discord chat and I can send you over to our Patreon group and you can grab one of those last 6 spots. This is the pro alerts here. And you can see some of the awesome trades we got here. Link, MDA, AMB. We caught all of these trades, 62% trade. What would this do to your account? If that's $1,000 going up to $1,600, this is $1,000 going doubling in value without any leverage. This is the phenomenal part of this, is that we're not using leverage on this. 1, 2, 3 formation set right up, 98%. This is all pulled back. And if Bitcoin prices are going to be blasting off from here, altcoins are going to get crushed. And it's important to know when to get out of them as much as when to get into them. So that'll be my homework now for after this episode. I dig into all of the coins and I update the spreadsheet along with AOL Chandra. And we'll have this available for you so that you can get that data. Let's go back to Bitcoin prices and zoom in because it does look like it's breaking out from here. It looks like it, and I'm still skeptical even though it's going, though, you know, it's not a good idea to be holding a short position. Let's go back to the chat. Mr. ADY Cool, good to have you along. I'm glad you watch the channel every day. Hoping for the dip to $5,800. I'm not hoping, but if it does, it would do good for my alts. If it breaks out from here and it continues on the parabolic structure from this point, it is really important to pay attention to it because this is going to be huge what it does to the alts. I'm skeptical and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I wasn't buying it here. We were looking for the short positions here. We called this as a sell signal in the Ichimoku downtrend. Right off of this on July 10th, we were doing videos called, top hunting because we had these exhaustion wicks. It was coming up. It was making such a phenomenal channel. It made a beautiful, tiny little 1, 2, 3 top formation, and then down it came. So I don't know how long it's going to go sideways. There's no way to know, but with these exhaustion wicks on a smaller time frame, I don't think it's going to be a big, long sideways thing. I think we're going to get it sooner rather than later. And while there is the draw to the desire to wish to be correct on these, I must always assume that I'm wrong when I put on a trade so that I'm not holding that trade, convincing myself that I'm correct when it is definitely not proving me correct. So if I go in assuming that I'm wrong, then all is good because I'm not going to hold it longer than I should. If I go in assuming that I'm right, I'm probably going to hold it longer than I should, hoping that it comes back because I think I'm right. I wouldn't have bought it if I thought I was wrong, right? So get that, pardon me. That's a good microphone. Okay, if you've got any coin requests, I can go and check those out right now. We can go through this similar process on them. I still don't like it. It's got a big a buyout, a move right there, but let's zoom in. I'm not liking it. Do we have a negative divergence right off this little bit here? We should have. If it is losing power and getting weaker, then we should have a negative divergence. Let me grab the right tool. I don't know. It's not much of a divergence. They're pretty even. Let's go to the MACD. That looks good. Looks positive. If this crosses positive, then that looks good too. Let's go look at BCH. Oh yeah, look at that. It's going. Curious because sometimes it's moving against Bitcoin, sometimes with Bitcoin. But if I'm following my trading plan, then I don't care if it's curious or not because I do this same thing for every single market. We go through them all every single day, and I'm watching for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. If it makes the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, we certainly have a good divergence in the MACD. Good divergence here. If it makes it, I put out the alert. We just play it. We play it with a small bit of our position. no matter which ones are. And that's the secret sauce, is to do them all and only play the ones that are moving. Let go of the ones that pull back and hold the ones that are keep going. Boom, boom. So it takes a lot of hours every day to be going through the spreadsheets and to keep coverage on all of the coins on Poloniex and Binance. But I love the spreadsheet because when I get a question in our Discord chat, I can just open up the spreadsheet and I can see the data, the entries, the exits, all of our specifics on every coin. It's wicked. I love, it's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love because it's really worked out well for me in the past. So Litecoin, on this 12-hour time frame, it's just coming up to cross. We've got the histogram easing up. I like this as a double bottom. And inside this double bottom, I'm stretching it, but I want to see a 1, 2, 3 inside this. So let's zoom in on this to see if I can find my 1, 2, 3 inside this. Indeed, I do. And I see the crossover on the 4-hour MACD. So for many of the alts, I'm seeing these crossovers on the 4-hour MACD. We were looking at this yesterday on the live stream for Intro to Cryptos. So I have this Bitcoin trading channel. I just focus on Bitcoin and some requests after. And on the Intro to Cryptos channel, I cover these 6 coins. Can you see? Yeah. I cover ADA, BCH, and we go over these 6 coins in detail. One of the main things that was making me bearish on Bitcoin and bullish on these is the wonderful bottom formation that we have set up on these small time frames, and the MACD crossover, the RSI divergence. All of it is setting up beautifully at the same time as the 1, 2, 3 formation, while we also have the double bottom at historical lows. Like, give it to me on a silver platter with gold trim around the edge. Really, this is, we can't. We watch and watch and watch for how long now? 18 months waiting for just a moment like this. As we did in the beginning of September, we kicked ass on these, and the coins that really did take off from this 1, 2, 3 bottom, we captured those and we just stayed out of these. It was not easy. It's a lot of work, but we really caught some phenomenal moves in these. Now they're all pulling back to 50% levels of the recent move, and I think that they're going to stage and really blast off from here. So Litecoin wasn't one of the ones that we got into because it just went sideways, and why go into a sideways market? But now that it's come down to this historical bottom and made these crossovers, it's looking so delicious. 1 hour time frame, crossover stronger, 1, 2, 3 bottom, ascending wedge triangle. Oh, madness on the charts, and this should be a prerequisite for kids in school. They should be learning about this in 5th grade. If they can do their multiplication tables and they're smart enough to learn multiplication, addition, and subtraction, they should be learning this shit. They should not be taught that you should get a credit card and that you should keep your credit rating good so that you can get a loan and get yourself into debt. I'm off track. ZIL and Theta. Let me filter this by Bitcoin and scroll all the way down to ZIL. Makes me want to do a chant and a cheer whenever I hear ZIL. It's okay, but it hasn't gotten into any of our trades or our alerts because it hasn't finished a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and changed directions in the charts. It's still down, down, down. And I always feel bad about this coin because right here, like right here, I can't draw the chart over nicely. Right here, we had a live stream and a guy was saying, "What do you think about ZIL? Should I hold it?" And I said, "It's looking pretty strong. We're about to have and then it did a breakout here. And then that was the end. That was the top formation. And we didn't have a chance to go over that coin to say, there's our 1, 2, 3 times off the 3 touches of death. That's a real bitch there. And then as soon as it broke this uptrend line and we had the exponential moving average crossover, it was on the 4-hour time frame there. It was such a beautiful exit that you really if you're studying trading, you should be studying your exits more. This should be an art form. It should be like really good ice cream with all of the trimmings and sprinkles and stuff on it to know this pattern and to be comfortable with getting out on this pattern. It looks so great. It's going to go to the moon. Anyway, I'm off track there. Let me grab some coffee. Okay, so there's nothing I can do with it because here is some of the stuff we look for is the break of the downtrend line. And if you haven't already, head over to the website, intro-to-cryptos.ca, scroll to the bottom and put your email address in so that you get the free webinar. It gives you the 5 stages of the trade. The crypto juice I'm giving you is the free training here. I hope it's helpful. That free webinar is probably the most important thing of all. And the free Discord chat. Lots of information if you're just starting out. I want you to have this information and build success on it. So head over there and grab it. It'll make a big difference in your trading. And then you'll also understand more about what I'm talking about here. So the thing I talk about in that training is that there are 2 different types of 1, 2, 3 bottom formations that we want to avoid at all costs. The 1, 2, 3 bottom that goes sideways. Just want to avoid it. And of course, we want to avoid the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that breaks out and then goes down. So those are 2 of the main things that we have to be prepared to protect ourselves from when we're trading these 1, 2, 3 bottoms. And one of the ways I protect myself, of course, is to go through all of them and then only trade the ones, only the green line here, the yellow and the green line are those that went into alert status and hold status because they crossed above these levels and gave us our entry level. The rest of them, they stayed in neutral stance. We didn't have to do anything with these. So it hasn't made a 1, 2, 3 bottom. So there's nothing I can do with it until it does. It has to finish this number 1. That's good. And as it breaks above these levels, I'll wake up and I will pay attention to it. It will get into the roster when it breaks above these levels. But until then, I'll just leave it languish. And BCH is pumping. BCH. Come on, load up for me. There's BTC, still showing strength, hasn't flogged yet. BCH, okay, it did a little bit of a pump here, this bit, and it's pulled back. No word on this yet. The RSI is pretty even. I think it's going to gather here and pump more, but I don't know. Double top, divergence in the RSI. I couldn't play. This isn't my playground. But back here we did have alerts out for this. Now, Theta. I got to look at Walton Coin. I did so good on Walton Coin on this move up here, and I sold out at just the right time. It looked so amazing. But it was a top formation. It was a really great trade because it happened in such a short period of time, and it made the top formation, and I took it. And I've been watching it ever since, thinking it's going to go up. I played with it a little bit here and had to get out. Now I'm watching all the way along. Disappointing, just my own, because I traded it, then I start watching it more. Let's go to Theta. Theta. Now Theta, I like it better because it's gone sideways and give us such a nice bottom that it gives us a clear place, even if we ignore that last little pump and say that's a thank you alert. We could just ignore that that's even in the chart, and we could start building out our position on moves above this level. Yeah, pretty wild here on the 12-hour MACD. But zooming in on the 4-hour, it's looking pretty good. I would need it to create some structure, and I like what it's done here because it gives me the chance to have those structure that I need to have that bottom formation. It's coming back so that it can retest this and show strength above. Then I'm more confident to be getting in. And I know that some other people will be more swing traders, and they'll be getting in and scaling into the position if it comes back down to here. I'll say that's probably a good idea. It might be a good idea, and I'll still wait, and I'll start scaling in after it breaks above these levels. Especially since we are at these historical lows, things have gone sideways for so long. Now, I do believe that when they start taking off, we're going to see some really big explosive moves. Explosive moves I call popcorn moves. So BCH may be a cup with handle. BCH, let's go out to a one-day view. Well, not really. The cup with handle is like, it's obvious, like it's a cup, and then it has a sharp break, and then it blasts off. So you don't know it's a cup with handle until after it's done this, and it's usually a little while afterwards you look back and you go, wow, it was a cup with handle. So it takes like the 1, 2, 3, it's got to verify afterwards. So for me, we've got 3 lower lows, and we have this parallel channel down, and then we have the supporting 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a retest of it. So now we're getting into the phase where it's starting to change that direction. It's starting to show that it is actually changing direction and not just giving us a pump and then a pullback. So even after it does that, and it does change direction, then we're on our risk control rule monitoring all the way up. So it could be, in hindsight, it'll be something big like that, bigger. And this is where people get wrecked, right? Because you get in and it looks good, it's breaking out. You don't put your stop in the right place, or you put your stop just up underneath it. It comes back and hammers it and then off. But look at this. We've got the break of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We've got stage number 1 where we could be buying in. Stage number 2 is that it comes back and retests these levels and then shows strength. Then we could be buying. So there are 2 different ways to filter out the breakout of the 1, 2, 3 formation. And you could stage in with part of your trade here, keep your stop loss back, and then stage in with the second part of your trade here as it shows strength, and you have a very nice sized position without having to take big risks. It helps you reduce the risks at the beginning of the trade. BTC broke 9,500. Now, I've got the live stream, all on the bottom side here, we've got the red and the green, which is the significant trades feed going on. So if there are a bunch of liquidations and stuff, we should see it flowing through there. If there's a whole bunch of buying, that should flow, a whole bunch of green going by. And up along the top corner, I've got that little monitor, which is the 20-second chart. It's better than the 1-minute chart. So if there is some big move happening, we should see it in those 2. They should start to dance for us. ETH is looking really good. Let's clear this off. So Ethereum gave us the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation there on September the 8th. We got a great signal out of that. Really noticed this top formation all the way along. If you were following on the other channel, we were seeing the divergence on this way in advance. It took a long time, seemingly, for that top formation to actually manifest and break. Then it's come back right to support and resistance at just below the 50% level. And as we zoom in on this, we can see that we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's come back and retested that and now is showing strength. So all of the textbook signals, all of the textbook setups, everything that you can learn by taking that free webinar from the website, it's all being played out. And I love it because it's all written out from my trading plan from 1995 till 1998. I wrote out the trading plan. And then I studied it for years. I failed at it for years. I lost my money over and over again. And I never gave up belief in it because it kept proving itself out. Every time I would be watching corn, wheat, oats, soybeans prices, sugar, coffee, lumber prices, everything. I was seeing the 1, 2, 3 formations everywhere. I knew these are big and they take a while to play out. This is the hardest part of it, is the slow motion detail of it. Now with Bitcoin breaking out, I am not feeling good about the alts. Even the smallest little bit here. Okay, let's see if this, it doesn't have the juice yet. Not yet. Let me go back to TRX is slowing entries. Let's go to TRX. Okay, so this could be exhaustion wicks here as well, but it's also what I call the flaming birthday candle. Imagine this is a birthday candle with the wick, and we have the candle like it's on fire, and I blow on it gently from the side. The flame goes blowing off sideways. You get the picture? And from the flaming birthday candle, we often get a very big candle to the upside. So I've always looked at the flaming birthday candle as exhaustion wicks and failing, but with this increase in volume coming up underneath it as this is setting up, this is harder to say it in the daily time frame, but this has the juice to make moves that we haven't seen in a long time. And so then you start to forget about them. You start to doubt them. And when the setups are coming for it, you don't prepare properly because we haven't seen it in a while. Maybe you lost some money and you're feeling timid now, and you don't believe in the 1, 2, 3 formation enough to forget about your past mistakes, holding it too long, not getting out when you should have, all of those things. And then you hesitate at the moment where you shouldn't hesitate, because you got to believe in your system enough that during those dark days, those dark nights, you still take action on it over and over and over, and then it will work out. In our Discord chat, there is a pinned trading plan. It's the Turtles trading plan. If you've heard of the turtle trading experiment from back in the 1990s, actually, you'll know it is a famous trading experiment where some multimillionaires took 10 different people, gave them each $1 million, and said, I can teach you to trade my system. And it was going to prove that trading can be learned, and it's not something that's just a natural gift. And he proved it, that trading can be learned. The difficult thing with his trading plan was, and it's similar to the approach I do, is that it's a trend following plan. And you have to be willing to put on your trade and let that market come back and take you out if it's not the correct trend. But every time it comes to giving you the potential trend change, you do the same strategy and you start to unfold your position, sort of like an upside down umbrella. As you open up that upside down umbrella, it's catching more and more rain. So it would be with your trading plan. As the trade unfolds, you have a bigger and bigger position. And so you make more and more money. And it's enormously slow, but like a bulldozer, when it gets going, it just keeps going. So this looks to me like it's the flaming candle that is going to do a big wick up. And I'm still thinking Bitcoin is going to do a pullback in the background. So I would be absolutely wrong. And we know exactly when I'm wrong. When it breaks this uptrend line and Bitcoin is breaking out in the background, I'm wrong. And this will breaks down below these levels, I am wrong for now. We'll see how it plays out over time. Let's go into the indicators and see what's going on. Yeah, I like it. I like it as the flaming birthday candle because we have the downtrend in the RSI and it's starting to break above that. So that it's overbought is nothing. That's what the RSI does in an uptrend. It stays overbought, 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 overbought. So that it's going overbought is nothing, but that it's breaking the trend line as it's consolidating right here above these levels is something. That is, I'm excited about it actually. And I do have some. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to do another live stream and we'll go into detail on ADA, on all of these coins. We'll go through our indicator set and we'll continue to track it as we have been for the last few days. Now, just to wrap up, I want to repeat, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. This is a lesson I learned when I learned how to teach swimming lessons. Here we have our exhaustion wick at a top formation. Here we have our exhaustion wick at a top formation. Even though we have some volume coming in, as we zoom in on this, we can see that the volume is less and less for each of these tops. So I'm going to assume that I'm wrong until it proves me correct. If it breaks above these levels and we are seeing more volume coming in, I'm wrong. It's okay. And this is the flaming birthday candle that is going to be going up another leg. I don't think so, though. We'll see. Now, just to finish up here, let's take a look at the longs versus shorts. As Bitcoin is building, the longs are getting excited. I think they're going to get hammered. And Bitcoin dominance. If you slip down out of this channel, then you've just proven that it's a 1, 2, 3 top formation and that the alts are gaining power, that Bitcoin is slipping. This falling back, as Bitcoin is falling back out of this little, then we know that alts are going to be taking off, and it's time to not hesitate. It's time to know which coins you should be getting into, and I'd invite you to not only support the channel here, but get your access to this information. There are only 6 spots left at the $15 per month level. The $97 per month level includes everything on our 200 cryptos that we do, and including all of the entries, exits, and everything, along with our live spreadsheets, our live updates in our Discord chat, so that it's instant updates that look like this. So the $97 a month gives you education. It gives you all of our deep information. You can do it for $97 a month if you subscribe using PayPal or Discord. You can do $69 a month if you do 3 months on crypto. And if you use the discount code MINNOW, you will save an additional 20% when you're checking out. Boom. Lots of good stuff. Real service, real information. If you've got questions about any of this technical analysis, I love questions. Questions are the leaders of thought. And if you ask me something I haven't spoken about often, other people are asking that same question in their mind as well. So drop the questions. I love them. Just before I sign off, I want to invite you again to come and join us on Discord. The other day, where is that? Let me see if I can. No, it'll take me too long to find it. But the other day, somebody joined our Discord chat and I said, hey, how did you find us? And he said, we are on a top list for best Discord crypto groups. We were in the hot crypto group list. I thought, wow, that is phenomenal. Come and join us. Join one of the hot crypto groups. That'll wrap it up for today. I'll be going through Bitcoin and we'll monitor this throughout the day as it's unfolding, and any of these indicators are giving us details on one side or the other. We'll post it. We'll have screenshots, commentary, updates, all the good stuff. No Jack, Low Jack, good to have you along. On the Edge, thank you for being here again. Proud and Real, awesome to have you here. Grab the money bag. I don't see the cup and handle, not really. BCH, oh, maybe, yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Boom, boom. Next week, Lisbon Summit. I would love to be traveling to those things. Not at this time. Wow. Time to go. Yoga's starting. My goodness. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.